All right, I gave this presentation, Advertising for Indies, a brief primer, at LibertyCon 36 in Chattanooga, Tennessee at the end of June of 2024. And so that was about 2 weeks ago. And so what I'm going to do is record that now while it's fresh in my mind and put it up so people can access it. So the first question, of course, is why advertise? Well, it's very simple. If readers don't know about your book, they can't buy it. Now, can you tell from the graph of my royalties in 2017, 2018, 2016, 2017, 2018, when I started advertising? Yes, I started advertising right here at the beginning of May, end of April, beginning of May of 2018. It wasn't that I didn't have books out. Childers came out at this peak right here. And Childers' Absurd Proposals, my second novel, came out right here. But nothing happened until I started to advertise those books. So there's a couple types of advertising. One is free advertising. That's always good. The second one is paid advertising. First, free advertising, clinics at panels and conventions. So obviously, I'm giving this panel at LibertyCon, and you can talk about your books there a little bit, as long as you don't get obnoxious about it and you don't dominate the panel or forget to talk about the topic of the panel. But you put your books on the table there in front of you while the panel's going on, and usually there's a couple of minutes where people introduce themselves and you say what kind of stuff you write, and so you can do that. There are some Facebook groups that allow you to advertise on the Facebook group, science fiction groups. You can advertise on Twitter, or X, the platform formerly known as Twitter. You can email newsletters out, and you can also use a YouTube channel to get the word out. For paid advertising, the ones that I've used and I can talk about, this panel's not a be-all and end-all about advertising. It's just what I know and what I've learned in 7 years. So there's Amazon ads, there's Facebook ads, and there's magazine websites. So let's talk about those. Clinics and panels. Well, you're in front of potential readers in your genre if you pick the right convention. It allows you to mention your books if you're not obnoxious, as I mentioned. And the right panels allow you to demonstrate your knowledge in areas of interest to your potential readers. If you're an expert in guns in a gun panel and people like a lot of gunplay in their science fiction, then we go, oh, well, that guy at least knows what he's talking about, so it won't be stupid. Or if it's something about propulsion systems, you go, oh, this guy's going to have spaceships in his books. Free advertising on Facebook. There are Facebook groups that allow you to advertise. The biggest one is Science Fiction, with 76,000 members. They allow it any time within reason. So if you put up an ad every week in the Science Fiction group, the admins will approve it. And so that's good. Hardcore sci-fi group, no effing Star Wars. Von Kramer doesn't think of Star Wars as science fiction so much as fantasy. And the fans tend to, his idea is if you let the camel's nose in under the tent, it'll be all Star Wars all the time. So he has 11,200 members. He allows ads at any time, again, within reason. Once a week is not out of the ordinary. Mix it up, different book, different ad. Do not mention anything about Star Wars. Do not include a picture of any Star Wars character. Do not make any reference to Star Wars. You will be bounced from the group and banned for life. I am not kidding. John Ringo Fan Club has 3,900 members. John Ringo writes Mill SF and Adventure SF. The group allows ads on first and third Fridays. We recently had a month with a fifth Friday, and it's odd Fridays. So you can advertise there every 2 weeks. And then Space Opera has 21,600 members. They do not allow advertising in the main feed. They have an open market thread every 2 months, and you can put your ad as a comment to that thread. Putting an ad in the main feed as a post, as opposed to a comment under the open market post, will get you bounced from the group. But these are all free places to advertise your book to people who buy science fiction and who are interested enough to belong to and read science fiction Facebook groups. Free advertising other. Well, X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, I've not been successful here yet. Now, Devin Erickson has been, so he's the account to check here. Go into X and look up Devin Erickson and see what sort of thing he posts. He's been advertising primarily on X, and he's done very well. So that would be a place to learn about what they're doing. Email newsletters. I've not been successful here yet either. I tried it for a bit. Rob Howell has been, so he's the one to check on here. You can get onto his newsletter by looking up his page and signing up. And finally here, a YouTube channel. Now, with enough subscribers and views, you can monetize your channel. I've not been successful here yet. Mel Todd has been, so she's the one to check on here. What she did is put an audiobook up, free audiobook. You go under her channel and you can listen to her audiobook as a YouTube video. So just cover the book, and then the audio is for the video is the audiobook. And once you get enough views, and enough subscribers, you can monetize your channel, and then every time somebody looks at one of your videos, there's a little ad at the beginning, 4, 3, 2, 1 second skip kind of thing. But you get a payment, a micropayment for every one of those, and it can add up to some serious money. So you might want to check Mel Todd's channel and see what she's been doing. Now we go to paid advertising. This has been my primary focus. The first is magazine websites. I advertised on the website of the Analog Science Fiction and Fantasy magazine. You can place an ad on their homepage for $250 for a month. I ran a different ad every month for 6 months. I didn't see a lot of draw from these ads. I didn't see a lot of sales that I could say, boy, that bumped, So I can't recommend it, but it may be worth a try, depending on what you're writing and your ads, how your ads impact people. To do that, contact Tiffany Hinton at thinton@pennypublications.net. Here are the ads I ran on the Analog site. So I ran 6 of them for 1 month each. And like I say, normally you would expect to see that book or that series of books take a bump if the ad was being successful. I did not see that. It may be my ads. It may be the wrong time of the year. It may be a bunch of things. So, but, and you can see here in the children's book that I've got a free audiobook on YouTube trying to do what Mel Todd did. And so when you click on these ads are clickable on the Analog website. When you click on any of the rest of these ads, they take you to the Amazon page for the book or the series. Clicking on the children's ad takes you to the YouTube channel. Now, the nice thing about the Analog ads is you can make the ad whatever you want. It could be the book cover. It could be, a wall of text. It could be some picture that's not part of the book cover, but evinces the book series, the content. You can also have it click to wherever you want. So rather than have it click just to Amazon, you could have it click to your own webpage. You could have it click, like in the case of the children's book, to the YouTube channel, something like that. So you have a lot of freedom in what it is. They do vet the ads. They look at them, make sure they're okay, that that's something that they want to put up. But I got away with all of these, and the 2 on the right are, kind of sketchy maybe. Facebook ads. So Google Facebook ads to get started. You need to have a commercial account on Facebook, which means that you've associated a credit card with it because you're going to end up paying money. So that's not, in my case, my personal account. It's a second account, and I use my publishing name, YN Publishing. The ads get inserted into your target's streams. And so when people scroll, when they go on Facebook and they scroll down the stream of stuff they're getting from their friends and the groups they signed up for and stuff, ads get inserted into that. And that's where your ad will appear. You can set a daily dollar limit. I set mine at $5 a day. Cost per click on my ads runs from 22 cents to 54 cents. Cost per click is when somebody sees the ad and they go, oh, I want to check that out, and they click on it, how much did that cost you? It's the clicks that cost you. So how much did it cost you to have them click on the ad and go look at your book? And it's 22 cents to 54 cents. Now you can say, well, if it takes me 3 clicks to sell a book and I'm making $1.75 on a Kindle Unlimited, I'm breaking even. But all my books are in series. If they like the first book, they'll get the second, they'll get the third, they'll get the fourth, and those are all without ad cost. So you have to think on a bigger picture when you figure your ad costs. A nice thing about Facebook ads is you can tailor the target audience by country, by age, by gender. They have a bunch of different controls you can use. I've been letting Facebook decide what controls to use. And the AI in Facebook basically, it notices who clicks, and then it goes, oh, well, I'll put more ads in streams of people like those people. The biggest thing about Facebook ads is the picture in the ad. You have to catch the eye and interest the viewer. So they're scrolling down their news feed on Facebook. The biggest thing is have the picture and have something that grabs people and makes them go, oh, God, that looks interesting. I'm going to click on that. So what are the advantages of Facebook ads as opposed to, say, Amazon ads? First, it's a different audience than Amazon ads. The Facebook ads people are almost all Kindle and paperback people, not Kindle Unlimited. And so, on Kindle or paperback, my royalties are more like $3.50 a book. And so that's aiming at a slightly different crowd. The second thing is the picture does not need to be the book cover. On Amazon, the picture in the ad has to be the cover of the book, at least in where I place my ads. For Facebook ads, the picture can be anything you want. So it could be an associated picture, something else that you did, or it could be a star field with text on it. It could be different things. It doesn't have to be the cover of your book. The link from the ad doesn't need to be to Amazon. Amazon ads, the link is always going to go to the Amazon to the book page of the book whose cover you're showing. This one, it could be to the series page on Amazon, not the book page. It could be to your own website. It could be to a review of somebody who just thought your book was the greatest thing since sliced bread, and they pounded a gong on it. So you can play with what link you use and then track your success or not using that link, but you're not locked into the Amazon book cover. And the fourth, it does not need a conscious effort to be looking. So when you do Amazon ads, it's in the products related to this product you may be interested in, and people zip across that line. But they're at Amazon looking for books. They got to be on the Amazon site to see your ad. the thing with a Facebook ad is they're just catching up with their friends, finding out how Joe's doing because he had some problems last week, or catching up with some old buddies, and your ad zooms by. And if it's got a compelling enough picture, disadvantages. The Facebook audience tends to be older. People call it geezer book. I don't know. I still feel like I'm 25. I'm 70. So I meet the definition of geezer book, but I just don't feel that way. It's not just pay-per-click. Amazon is strictly pay-per-click. I'm not sure how Facebook determines what I owe them and when I hit the $5 limit per day, but my cost per click is lower than on Amazon, so go figure. The other thing is there's no bidding structure. Amazon is a bidding structure. I have no clue how Facebook decides whose ad to run when, and I just get the bills. But the cost per click is lower than on Amazon, so I'm not sure how that works. I did notice that when I started running Facebook ads, my sales and royalties did increase. So there's that. Okay, so what kind of Facebook ads have I been running? These are 3 of them. And the bottom one is a book cover. The boy and the girl are the front cover of the book, and the place where the text is in this ad is the back cover of the book, because the cover image wraps. The middle ad, the Empire ad, doesn't have any text, just Empire. But that's one of the covers. That's the cover for Conqueror. And then the first one, that's just a Starfield. 18 books, 6 trilogies, 1 epic saga, Empire. So I've run these. All of these have bumped sales numbers in those series. Here's some more. I narrowed these up because the Facebook ad format is narrower and it was clipping the sides, so I've narrowed them up. Children's my first series. Conflict is from Talbot's my last series. And Akate is from my hard fantasy series. All of these pulled sales. So what's the cost effectiveness? Well, on the left, that spike right there, that is the introduction day for the release day for Talbot 3, the 3rd book of the Talbot series, my most recent series. This is this year. This is 2024 dates. And I started running Facebook ads right here. So you can see from a new book, sales tapering off per day. And then I started running the Facebook ads, and I started to get some extra sales in here. And when the 4th book came out, you can see that it massively outperformed the 3rd book. And I think that's because of more visibility due to the Facebook ads. So, and I'm spending, like I say, on Facebook ads, I'm spending $5 a day. Now, that's $150 a month. That's not much. So let's talk about Amazon ads. That's the 400-pound gorilla in the room. Google Amazon ads to get started. You get a different audience than on Facebook. You get a lot of Kindle Unlimited. And Kindle Unlimited, you get half as much money per book in royalties. But these are your bulk readers. These are your volume readers. So it's a sort of a volume discount. 70% of my royalties are from Kindle Unlimited. I know people say, well, I'm not going to sell a book for $1.75 in royalties when it's $3.50 otherwise. That's just stupid. That's a ripoff. It's like, okay, but it's 70% of my royalties. So you have to think in terms of what's the biggest bang for the buck across the board, not get stuck on moral principles. Moral principles are all well and good, but this is a business. And it's not like you're screwing anybody. You could say, well, Jeff Bezos isn't giving me as much money as he should. Well, I don't know. Before Jeff Bezos did what he did with Amazon and print on demand and Kindle, I didn't have a venue to publish other than going through publishers. And since this is advertising for indies, presumably you're in the same boat. So Jeff Bezos blew the market open for indies, and I can't get mad about that. So Google Amazon ads to get started, different audience. The ads appear in products related to this item on other authors' book pages. So somebody will go and look up, David Weber's latest book, and if there'll be his book cover and the blurb for his book and stuff about the series that it's in and the publisher date and all that, and then there'll be this line, products related to this item, and it'll be a bunch of little ads across. And those scroll. You can scroll those left and go to, another half a dozen books, another half a dozen ads. Scroll those left. And so what you're doing is you're putting your ads on his page. And that affects some of what the rules about how you do this. The cost per click on my ads runs from 40 to 95 cents. Now that's twice what it was on Facebook. And for a Kindle Unlimited book, I make $1.75 in royalties. So, if it takes me 3 clicks to sell a book, and I'm running 95 cents a click, it can cost me $3 to get somebody to buy a $1.75 book. But Empire's a 12-book series by me, another 4 by Stephanie with 2 more coming, Stephanie Osborne. Agency is a 5-book series. Childers is 6 books. So you have to think in terms of getting people into the series, getting them reading, and work from there. Not just think in terms of one book. The ad will be your book's cover with a text below of up to 150 characters. So you get the cover of whichever book you're advertising. A click will take them to that book's page. You can't send them to the series page. It'll go to the book page for the cover that's on there in the ad. And then you have 150 characters to put a little ad blurb underneath the cover. There are rules about the cover and the text because they're being placed on another author's book page. So I can't just put any cover I want on there and any text I want on there because, David Weber may not want that image on his book page. And so you have to be careful. They've got rules. And I've become something of a rules mechanic with Amazon on those, and that's fine. All right. The advantages. Every ad hit is a potential reader. It's a book site, right? It's not somebody who's going through Facebook looking at his news feed and sees your thing and clicks on it and, it's a book ad. Oh, okay. No, they're in Amazon because they're buying books. So that's why they're there. The payment is per click only. If nobody clicks on your ad, you don't pay anything. You only pay when somebody clicks. The bidding system is tunable. There are some parameters you can adjust. We'll talk about them a little bit. There's parameters you can adjust, but you basically bid how much you want to pay per click. And it's a broader audience than Facebook. You don't just have Geezer Book because young people buy books off of Amazon too. So the disadvantages. The person has to be looking at the ads line. So somebody goes to David Weber's book page and looks at his latest book. That doesn't mean they're going to scroll down to the ads line and look at my ad. The target of the ad has to be an Amazon book. You can't use an Amazon ad to advertise a book that you're not selling on Amazon. It's an internal ad system. So it's sort of like what'd you call it? Sort of like a poster inside a Barnes & Noble. You can't put a poster for your book inside a Barnes & Noble if your book is not available at Barnes & Noble. And the ad picture must be the book cover. That's also not true about Facebook ads. Okay, the rules. The cover cannot be sexually suggestive. That's the one I usually trip over. And it depends on what you mean sexually and what you mean suggestive. So the text cannot include Amazon review quotes. So you can't put in there some quote from an Amazon review because Amazon figures the reviewer could go back in and edit their quote anytime they want. They don't want to have to track that the review you quoted in your ad is no longer up. The text cannot have unusual capitalization. It cannot have repeated punctuation. For instance, exclamation, exclamation point will not work. Neither will dash dash for large dash, because that's a repeat. You cannot use an exclamation point after every sentence. If you have 3 sentences in your ad blurb and there's an exclamation point on every one, it'll bounce back. These issues will usually be pointed out as you compose the ad or once you submit it for approval. Finally, the cover can show a gun, but not a smoking gun. That implies violence. So let's look at some ads. The one on the left got bounced because sort of the implication is she just got done banging this guy. I mean, that was what they said. As it turned out in the book, where she's dressed like that and he's dressed like that, it, in fact, is what just happened. But, so I can't really argue with it. I changed to the cover on the right, where she's actually showing more skin, but that's a party dress. And so that was okay. Okay. The issue with this cover is that Hecate, in the left cover, is sans culottes. No pants. It doesn't show anything, but she doesn't have, it's clear she doesn't have any pants on. So what I did was I expanded I enlarged the image and pulled it down and put a banner behind my name to cut it off just below the snake's head. And they went, oh, okay, that's fine. Then what I did, and since I'm advertising the Kindle book, you advertise the Kindle book, not the print book, because the ad will include the price, and the print book price is going to be much higher than the Kindle book price, and it'll look out of line with the other prices in the line. So you advertise the Kindle book. So what I did for the Kindle book, I ran this ad on the right, and then I took the cover image on the left and made it the first page of the Kindle book. So readers still got the good cover. It was the first page after the cover that appeared in the ad that appears on the product page. They get the Kindle book, and there's the cover, they swipe it, and then they get the real cover. There's another interesting story about this. So I ran this ad for a while, and then I halted the ad, and I changed the Kindle book back to the cover on the left. So I took out the internal sort of copy of the cover, made it the front cover, and went back to that. Later, I turned the ad back on, and it went, because it had been approved, you see. And so the cover on the left is currently being used in ads, though it was not approved. As far as I'm concerned, that was an accident for which I will apologize profusely if they bring it up. Okay, this one. The one on the left was rejected for ads, which I wasn't sure if it would go or not. That's the one on the left is the cover of the print book. But for advertise, and which you can get away with if that's what you want to sell, and people ask if they want to buy, that's all well and good. You just can't put that ad on someone else's book page. I can't put that on David Weber's book page or John Ringo's book page, you see? So even though I use special nipple-free glass, if you notice. So for the Kindle book, we took the reflection out. I used reflection-free glass. That was okay. The one on the left remains the cover of the paperback. Now, the ad on the left is the ad of a friend of mine, Ray Ordorica, who started writing like me late in life. He was a book editor, a magazine editor for Guns magazine, for one of the big Guns magazines, and he knew all the gun guys. As a matter of fact, that's a special edition Colt that was gifted to him by the company. So, his initial cover for that book had that gun smoking. And it was rejected for ads. So he did the cover again he took the smoke off the cover, whatever. He undid what he did to put the smoke, to add the smoke. And it was fine for ads. At the same time, your humble narrator submitted the book cover on the right for Empire Renewal, Empire 16, and it's an over and under with a rifle above a rocket-propelled grenade launcher. And both barrels are smoking. And Amazon let it go. Don't know why, but Amazon let it go. So sometimes it pays to try something, and if they reject it, you go, oh, okay, they reject it. Can't be sexually suggestive, but this one, which is for Empire 18, Empire Resurgence, Arsinoe the Great is dressed in a very filmy dress that basically lets everything show through. And this was fine with Amazon. I got no tweaks out of them about it at all. Go figure. The one on the left was rejected. And so I wrote them a note, and I said, look, the whole point of this is to evoke the imagery of the 1830 painting by Eugène Delacroix, Liberty Leading the People. But we cleaned it up because we have her hair hanging down over her nipples so that it's not like the original, but it's supposed to evoke the original, because that painting actually is created within the book. So I went, oh, it's the same like that? Oh, okay, and then they let it go. So targeting is very important. This is whose book pages, how does Amazon decide whose book pages your ad's going to go on? Mistargeting is a tremendous waste of money. Example, for gardening book, do not use hose as a target. You might end up targeting rap music. Just saying. Now, one target that always works is the names of authors who write books similar to yours. So one target for me would be David Weber, another would be John Ringo, another would be Michael Williamson. So what I did was I took the 100 top books in the subgenre, like Mill SF or Colonization SF. I took the top 100 books, took the names of all those authors. If you just copy the page and paste it in Notepad, it'll drop all the pointers and pictures and stuff and all the formatting, and then you can just edit out so it's just the author's names. Put it in Excel, and then dedupe it, and then you end up with a list of authors, because some authors have more than one book in the top 100. And then you end up with a list of all the authors' names who have books in the top 100. And that's my targets. So you do have to make sure you spell punctuate the author's name the same way Amazon does. K period T period Jones is not the same as K period space T period space Jones. So you have to get it right. That's another good reason to use, for me to use the top 100. Bidding. Amazon gives you bidding suggestions for what it will take to get your ad on an author's page. So they may say, well, for David Weber, you're going to have to bid $1.85 per click to get on his front page. And for Rich Wayne, it's like 40 cents, right? So I ignore that. And I bid the same on all the authors. And you think, well, no, wait a minute. You're going to be maybe on the third or fourth swipe of ads on David Weber's page. Yes, but I'll be high on indies pages. And the people who read indie authors are going to read other indie authors. There's some people who won't read indie authors. There's a lot of less than sterling samples of writing out there. And so they say, I'm just going to stick with Bain and Tor and whoever, And I don't read indies. So those guys those aren't the people you're after. You're after the people who already read indies. So I end up with pretty high bids on some of the indies compared to maybe what Amazon suggests, and very low bids on big trad pub authors compared to what Amazon suggests. So I just bid them. I flat bid all the targets, same value. I start around 25 cents a click and see what I get. I adjust up from there. Most of my stuff is running in the 50, 60, 70 cents a click range. Select fixed bids, not either the dynamic bid settings. Amazon will mess that up for an indie. It just doesn't work. So I select fixed bids as one of my tunable parameters in the bidding. For top of search and product pages, I set them to 25%. For rest of search, I set it to 0. Those work for me. Set your daily limit to what you can stand. I run ads, so I spend about 30% of royalties on advertising. And you go, 30% of royalties on advertising? Jeez. It's like, yeah, but 70% of something is more than 100% of nothing by a lot. And if you can make that something a big number, 70% of that is a lot more than 100% of a small number. The cover is important to getting attention, but that is set by this time. You already have the cover. But the ad text is important too. You need to get the reader's eye to stop and go back to read the second line. The readers don't read the whole ad text, yada, 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 and then move to the next ad. Their eye scans across the line. If the first line of your ad text doesn't make his eye stop and back up to read the second line, you're not getting the click. So you've got to have something in that first line. Big example, any children's ad that starts with Space Navy action will outperform any ad that doesn't, no matter what the rest of the text is. So the first three words, that first line of the text are critical. Let's get some punch in it. So here's a sample page. It's 6 of 24 from somebody's book, so I swiped 5 times until I had a block here that I could use some examples. Products related to this item. So there's 6 ads here. Eaten by Sword by Paul Bartonic. What do you get if you mix 2 cups of Asimov, 1 cup of... Boring. Viv Ross 9 by Andrew Tanner. Alien Diplomacy, Space Pirate, wow, attacks, and a misfit crew determined... That's Alien Diplomacy and Space Pirates? Right in the first line, tracking across. Gotta love it. I might put the Space Pirate attacks up there and leave the Alien Diplomacy off, or put it later in the sentence so I can get Space Pirate attacks as the first 3 words on the top line. Legend Rising Galactic Guardians Book 1. There's no blurb. The blurb's free. It's 150 letters. Why would you not have a blurb? Preparing for the Future. Preparing for the Future is the first book of the fast-paced, funny science fiction Future Vision series. Yeah, it says that. Prepare just above there in the blueprint. It says preparing for the future, future visions, book 1. It's a wasted blurb. Where's the punch? Again, time wrecked, collision with destiny, no blurb. Just, it was free. He threw it out. And the last one, Super Dreadnought, a military AI space opera. A galactic war and a rogue... Oh, man, a galactic war and a rogue AI? Galactic war, you had me at the first line. I'm going to click on it, right? So that's some pointers there. Amazon ads aging. Ads all age. Ad performance is usually in clicks per impression. It usually takes 500 to 2,000 impressions to get one click. If you're running at 1,000 impressions per click or less, that's a really good ad. Now, an impression is any time it appears on a page. And the reader may not even scroll down the page far enough to see the ads line. So, yeah, it can take 1,000 placements by Amazon on the page to get one click. And that's good performance. 1,000 impressions per click. But you got to remember how many millions of people are looking at how many tens of millions of pages on Amazon every day. Ad performance will decrease over time. The number of impressions per click will rise. It'll go up to 2,000 or 3,000 impressions to get one click. And that's because the people that were enticed by your cover and your ad text have already clicked through and read about your book. And the people who weren't enticed by it still aren't enticed by it. So you can change the text to get other potential readers who haven't clicked through before. So, you could have that last one on the other page. He's got a galactic war and a rogue AI. Okay? He could get different guys by just saying a rogue AI in a galactic war. Because they're the rogue AI, you want to get that up front. And some guys, that's what they're interested in, and they didn't see it in this ad copy. They didn't see it was on the second line. Put the rogue AI up front and the galactic war second. Maybe you get that guy who's looking for the rogue AI stuff, whereas before you got all the guys who were interested in the galactic war stuff. So the ads don't stop performing. They already pulled out of the audience with clicks all the people who had an interest in the way you phrased the description of the book. Phrase the description of the book a different way, you'll start pulling other people in the group who the previous description didn't interest them. Okay? Now, ad strategy. You have to try things to see what works. Okay? People are basically crazy. You cannot predict performance of an ad. You just can't. And so try stuff. See what works. Early in advertising, I was changing ads every week to see what would work. And then I'd run that one for a while. When I got one that was putting out, one click per 500-600 impressions, I ran that for a while. Some book covers hit a nerve, and they get high click rates because the picture is just so cool. And people go, wow, look at that. So advertise those books more. The second book of Colony is the one with the two kids on it, the two teenagers on it, and lava lavas. And she, in fact, per the context of the book, is topless, but you can't tell because her hair hangs down. You can't see if she's wearing a bikini top or not. But that cover is green, and it's got a lot of skin on it, and that cover pulls. So when I advertise that series, I don't advertise any of the other books in the series. I advertise that one. It's the second book in the series, but I advertise that one. And then people see it's book 2, and then they can go look at book 1. Change the text once in a while, see what works. Copy the success in other books, other ads. So that's where I got the Space Navy action. When I hit on that with Childers, all of a sudden my clicks per impression went way up. And so That's where I got the idea that you have to have punch in that first line. There's no formula. There's no secret sauce. You try different things to keep trying, see what works. Repeat it if you can. Okay, so that's the presentation I gave at LibertyCon 2 weeks ago, the end of June 2024, about my experiences with advertising. Like I say, it's not the be-all and end-all, but hopefully you picked up a little bit from that, and it helps you out in your book sales. And with that, I'll go, and we'll see you next time.